Hello.
Hi, Mary Prankster. This is Rob and Slim from the Rob and Slim Show.
Hey, fellas. It's so nice to talk to you again.
Great to hear you. Great to hear you. I feel we always connect on a great time. I think last time I emailed you, you were just getting ready for your comeback tour, and this time you just dropped an album, correct?
Correct. Perfect timing. Couldn't be better.
Awesome. Awesome. And it is titled Thickly Settled, and we both listened to it, and it's amazing. It's really good. I feel like you've grown a lot
I'm so
musically.
glad you like it.
It's really great. It's really great. I wanted to ask how many, like, is every track done with the same band?
Almost. So the first 9 songs are the same guys, believe it or not. And the last song is a 10-piece soul band from Baltimore called Belvedere's. But putting together this album, like one of the things, my friend Steve, who's the co-producer and engineer, Steve Wright, I was just like, all right, so I've got this collection of songs, and I want to like one band, but here's the thing: they have to rock as hard as Appetite era Guns, and then be able to like turn on a dime and play 30s jazz. And then I've got a song that's like country in the choruses, but it's Motown in the verses, and then they also have to be able to do funk. I was like, go find me them. And he was
Yes.
like, okay, yeah, no problem. And he totally did.
Wow, because that's what I wanted to ask. Like, how many different instruments were featured in the album? Because it just seems like a lot. It seems like it was like you just explained it. It's everywhere. It's all things.
Yeah, it's loads and loads and loads. The liner notes look like a phone book. But the sort of like core group, they were each of the guys were just sort of like Swiss Army knife players. So the drummer, percussionist, Jason Butcher, he also sings and plays guitar. So like most of the guys sang as well. And Walker Terrett, he was the bass player. He could play upright, he could play electric, and he also did the piano ballad. He was like, yeah, I play a little piano. And he ended up doing the ballad, which was incredible. Brian Ewald was the guitar player, and he was just unbelievable. Like, his knowledge of music was so acute. And also, all these guys were like really pleasant as well, like really nice and enthusiastic and game.
Wow.
But Brian, I was just like, okay, so I kind of want this part to sort of sound like the fix. And he'd be like, okay, do you mean like one thing leads to another fix, or do you mean like Saved by Zero fix? I'm like, I love you. Like he could get all of it like right away. And then Bronson Hoover, he was another like Swiss Army knife player. He played all the keyboards and organs and piano. And there was like one song, and I was like, I hear like a kind of stabby piano part, but I'm not really sure. And he was just like toy piano. And I'm like, oh my God. So he played everything, including toy piano. And then a Nick Ryder, trumpet player, put together the horn section for most of the songs, except for the last song. And that was him on trumpet and Russ Turk on sax and Greg Considine on trombone. And there's a song on the album that's a funk song. And we didn't record it with a click. And what that means is that the rhythm isn't consistent all the way through. So you
Wow.
can't loop stuff. You can't like take one part of the song and then go, okay, well, we played that well. We have to add it. So the entire thing had to be played live. And by the end of the session, like all of their lips were numb because they had just been blowing and blowing and blowing all night long. I was astounded by the goodwill and dedication of these folks. And then the last song was like a very like it's a really intense sort of song. And I
Yes.
talked with Steve about it, and I was like, I kind of like that. I was like, what's Baltimore's version of the Dap Kings? And he's like, oh, the Belvedere's. I'm like, okay. I really wanted a band that was used to playing as a band, because it was kind of like it was one of these songs that was everybody's going to have to sort of dig deep and like get to the real shit and like leave a part of them on the track. And I wanted folks who were already kind of comfortable with each other. So these folks came in. It's got guy Ryan Finneran on bass. The singers, Denny Finneran and Kelly Butcher, they were just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it made me up my game. To the extent that I can. Like when your support singers are like way better than you, it's just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to step it up a bit. Um,
Wow.
and the drummer is this guy EJ. They call him Big Sugar. EJ Shaw Thompson, Bronson Hoover again on the keys, and the horn section. These folks were amazing. It was Tiffany Defoe on tenor sax and Rose Hammerbert on baritone sax, and this guy Jimmy Baseman on trumpet, and they just absolutely crushed it. So
Wow.
I feel so fortunate to have gotten to. I mean, at this point, like I have listed a phone book. I'm so excited that I've gotten to play with these folks, and it was so much fun. Oh, and I have to mention Amy Shook. She played fiddle. And she's only on the one song, but like she again just like killed it dead.
That's amazing. I wanted to ask too, what song of them has the most meaning to you?
Yes. All of them.
Okay.
All of them.
Yeah.
They all felt like you
no
put
way
everything into them.
to choose.
Even like you said, vocally, like your vocals are just amazing. Like your voice is amazing. Like I think my personal favorites were Sugar in the Raw, Local Honey, Clownin, and like you said, that last track, Any Day Now. It was just like, wow, it's just like everything. It's all over the place and just so good, so good.
I loved Rock and Roll Degenerate. I thought that was a great way to start the album off with, and Clownin' was amazing. But Mary, what I want to say, so what I did last night is I listened to all your albums, because I got like Amazon Music and you're on there. So I listened to all of your albums, and then I listened to your new album, then Blue Skies Forever, and then your new album again, and like compared both in my mind, and they're both great albums, but this new album, just amazing how much improvement you have in that and how much growth. Just, I feel like it's almost like I'm listening to you grow as a person, because like, you know, Blue Skies Forever, a great album, but you can tell you did a lot of like sexual themes, and you were more like kind of like a teenage type of thing in there, and then this one's more adult themes, and I just really loved listening to that growth.
Thank you so much. I mean, you know, some artists go their entire lives and they don't get a review that good.
Wow,
that's awesome.
Amazing.
Thank you.
I also love just the progressiveness of it, like Sweet Beat, and what's the other one? Oh my gosh, what's the one where it was like kind of like a breakup? I Don't Gotta, or Don't Gotta. Like those two had just like such meaning behind them, I feel.
And I told Rob last night, it like reminded me of Tool, who I love Tool, but they just released a new album after like a 10-year hiatus, and I listened to it and I'm like, there's nothing, like it just sounds like the same old shit, and I'm like, I'm just not impressed. And then, like, I listen to your stuff, and I'm like, no, Mary, like, she's doing her thing. She's not, like, Tool kind of feels like they're like, oh, we don't want to upset our fans. We're just going to give them what they want. Yeah. But, like, you're just doing, like, what you want to do, and it sounds fucking amazing, and I can see the improvement in it, and I just thought that was great.
Wow. Thank you so much. I'm so happy with it. Like, I'm overjoyed with how well it came out. I was texting with the drummer Jason Butcher the other day, and I told him that I have to watch myself, because if I'm being perfectly honest with how much I love this record, I sound like a less bashful Kanye. I'm just like,
I don't want to see you talking to Trump next week, man.
No, I'm so thrilled, and I'm really, really glad that it's gotten this kind of reception so far too. Like the fans, especially the long-term fans, like they seem okay with it. Like they seem to be accepting of it. There was a band, and I won't name names, but they came out with a record that was kind of a departure from some of their earlier stuff, like recently. And they said that they'd heard from their producer that if they don't lose 20% of their fans with each new record, that they're not growing. And I can't even imagine that. Like I would never, ever want that. Like I don't have this sort of callousness. So like, I'm very happy that I was able to do this, but that the folks seem to be digging it, because I absolutely want to, I want to bring everybody with me. And then, you know, and then even more people. Even
talking about your comeback show, like just watching it, it seemed like it was a great mix of people in the crowd, like people like our age, or, you know, and then younger people. Like it was an awesome atmosphere that was going on there.
People brought their kids. Like people were just like, you know, we were to you 20 years ago, and here are our children. Like, oh my God, it was amazing. It was, I mean, that was a really amazing night.
That's great. That is super cool.
I'm curious, when you were writing it, did you think of that though? Like, did you think of your fan base who, you know, fans of like the Blue Skies Forever, that was like fuck everyone, and then you're like, I'm not really dropping the F-bomb that much in this album. Did it like
no F-bombs?
No F-bombs at all? Did it make you think like, oh, am I gonna lose my old fans from this?
Well, like when I put out the first record, and it was, you know, like wall-to-wall fucks, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
It's because sometimes just screaming fuck at the top of your lungs as many times as you possibly can is just the best course of action.
Yes, therapeutic.
So I'd put, indeed, and fun as hell. Yeah. So like I put out the first album, and then I put out the second album, which was Real It Girl, and it didn't have as many fucks either. And I know there were some folks who were just like, where's the fucks? And just like, well, there's fucks in the first album, there's not as many fucks in the second album. And they're just like, we want the fucks, we don't want anything to do with this.
Where's the fucks?
the third album, I think there might have been some swears, but like the swearing sort of varied. But like the fans who were in it from the beginning and who like really got it and were really into it, at this point, they've been through so much. Like there's no sort of casual Mary Prankster fans left. So like there are folks who've been there since I was, like a solo acoustic thing. And they were just like, okay, great. And then I'm like, well, now I'm going to have a band and I'm going to say fuck all the time. And they're like, we're with you. And then I was just like, well, now I'm going to have a band and not say fuck as much. And they're like, sounds great. And then I was like, now I'm going to do like a live country album. And they're like, all right, yes, more. And then I'm just like, okay, well, now I'm going to retire and just fuck off for 15 years. And they're like, okay, vaya con Dios. And then I'm just like, okay, now I'm back. And they're just like, yay.
Yeah, give me more. Awesome. I love it.
When you have a fan base like that, like they, the only pressure for me was just making sure that it was an album, that it wasn't going to waste anybody's time, because I appreciate the hell out of those folks. I mean, it's not every artist that, could just disappear for 15 years and then be back and be like, I have an album, and everybody would be just like, yay.
Agreed.
Great. Where do we get it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
And I agree 100%, and I agree that you gave everybody their money's worth. You gave them more than their money's worth with this album.
Oh, I'm so glad you think that.
Thank
you.
I have your stuff, Mary. I have a Spotify playlist, and I have some of your stuff in it. And I've had people walk up to me at work asking, who is that? Who is that? And I tell them, and it's like they obviously loved it. They obviously loved hearing that song.
That's really super. So I'm very, very happy. I feel a great deal of responsibility to those folks and to folks who have like supported me in the past, because it's important.
And most of the songs I have are all the fuck songs. It's all
the fuck songs. Some of those fuck songs are American classics. I'm not going to argue with you.
That's the gateway. That's the gateway, Mary Prankster, right there.
Yes, and they're still there. So like, if the new stuff, if it's just like I don't know, it's too mature for me. The other ones are still there. They're still there, and they're just as like rabble rousing as ever.
Yes, absolutely. Mary, I wanted to ask, would you be able to perform something live?
Yes, I would.
Ooh. I would love to hear a song.
Okay. So I thought I'd do one from the new record and then maybe close us out with one from one of the American classics. So this is actually the only song that I can literally play from the new album, because all the musicians on the album are so much better than I am. But this one I can actually play. So this is the one that you mentioned before. This song is called Don't Gotta.
All right.
I would have cared for you in sickness and in health, stood by your side in times of poverty and wealth. But if the little voice inside can be believed, I'm secretly relieved that I won't have to. I was prepared to share in all that happened hence, through fortunes foul and fair and family events. But if the universe works in benevolence, it makes a lot of sense that I won't have to. It doesn't denigrate the happiness we had. To terminate makes neither party good nor bad. An unfamiliar fate awaits, awake and strange. Love is no inoculation to the strain of change. I'll make the best of it this respite will allow. I'll live to love again, surprised I still know how. You're free to spin your wheels in other circles now. Oh, why? I mean, oh, wow. Yeah, I won't have to. Do-do, 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 do-do-do-do.
Wow. fucking amazing. I feel like, I don't know, like that could be in a movie. That could be in like a scene of a movie.
Good.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what scene. Like, I don't know if there's like a murder or what. I don't know. But that could be in a motion picture.
I don't know why, but it just made me think of like that guy that does like Seven Psychopaths, and then what's the most the Billboard one. Like that would fit in like one of his films.
Like totally, it's sad and happy and comforting and discomforting at the same time. Like there's many things in that song.
Oh, that's the total package.
It's great.
Yeah, so you grow and you live and you learn and you can write a whole different caliber of fuck you song.
Yes. Yes. Was that based on a real life experience?
Oh, they all are, baby.
Yeah. That's what makes them the greatest.
Oh, and I got to tell you, you mentioned Clownin, and you also mentioned movies. Did you hear about this this B movie that song is going to be in?
No.
Okay, this is funny and it's noteworthy and it's definitely worth talking about. So like that song was inspired because a few years ago this guy got in touch with me. And he said he'd written an independent horror film about a serial killer who murders clowns, and that he'd written a cameo for me. And naturally, I was just like, I am absolutely in.
Yes.
So he sent me a script, and it was just like, this little sort of blink and you'll miss it part. But I was just like, okay, I love everything about this. It was violent, it was twisted, and it was strangely sweet because there's a love story in the middle. And I'm like, okay, I love everything about this. And so it inspired me, and I wrote the song Clownin'. And I sent it to him, and he was just like, "Oh my gosh, this is great!" And I was like, "Terrific!" So I had written it for the soundtrack, and I went down to North Carolina this past July and like shot the scenes. It was the last day of shooting, and it was amazing. This guy's been working. His name is Jason Buterin. And ages ago, he was in a band called the Blanks down in North Carolina. And when I would tour, I would play with them a lot. And he's become since then like an independent filmmaker. And there was like a crew and those big things like a dolly or cranes. He had like crane shots and stuff.
Yeah.
It was intense.
Wow.
And they'd been shooting for like 3 weeks by the time I got there. So everyone was loopy as hell. And they had people like in clown makeup and, the serial killer. And we shot the scenes and it was loads and loads and loads of fun. But he's got a couple of trailers now up. If you look for the movie's called Kill Giggles. And it was very, very exciting because he's been working on it for so long. And apparently he has the fear of clowns, colorophobia.
Oh. Yeah.
Colorophobia?
Yep.
Clown phobia.
Okay.
That's what I call it.
You said the right term. Rob said the layman's term.
But he has like an actual, fear of clowns. So he had made this movie as therapy. And,
wow. That's like some Batman level shit.
Yeah. That's like, I'm going to face it head on.
Right. Totally.
He's going to become a superhero that's like dressed as a clown.
But I was very, very touched to be invited to be a part of somebody's dream/nightmare.
Dream/nightmare.
Yeah, you can see the trailers online now, and so that was really funny. So yes, there actually is a song for the new album in a movie, which is I'm super excited about it.
That is awesome.
Mary, I got a quick question because I was looking at some of your shows because I really want to see you live, and I know Rob would love to see you live. Are you ever playing anywhere near like New Jersey, Philly, New York area?
Not at the moment. So right now there's just 2 more shows of the year, and the one is sold out in Baltimore, but the one in Alexandria, Virginia, which is a schlep, but it's not like a super schlep. So, you could make it. It's all just down 95. That one is at a place called the Birchmere, and it is not yet sold out. There's still a few tickets left. So,
cool. All right, I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah,
I will look into that. That's not a far drive, right? Like,
I don't think so.
You usually drive there to pick up your boys,
I go.
right?
My children, my sons live in West Virginia, but where they are, it's like 4.5 hours. They're at the top.
Okay. No, that's not. It's a whole different thing. It's just down 95. It's like right next to DC.
That sounds like around that area. It sounds like it's maybe even before them because where they live is the Panhandle. So it's where Baltimore, where it's Maryland, Virginia, and West Virginia meet. So it sounds like it's right around there type of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah, we'll definitely look into that. And where is that information available? Is it on maryprankster.com?
Oh, aren't you kind? Yes, you can find information about touring, other news, and the album itself is available for download at maryprankster.com. And also, if you would rather stream it, because I can't fault you for it, because that's how I consume my music too. It's on Spotify and iTunes, and if you go to maryprankster.com, you can get to all of those places from there. It's like a hub, if you will.
Yes.
And there's going to be new merch that I'm very excited about. It's not up yet, but it's coming up soon. And if you sign the mailing list, you will find out when all of that is coming out. Ooh. And there's a video. I made a video. And it's the first one I've ever made. And that's on YouTube, but you can also get to that through maryprankster.com. It's right at the top of the...
I didn't realize you've never had a video before. Which song is that? Is that
Local Honey?
Local Honey, yes, I saw that. Very cool.
Yeah, well, I never made a video before because phones didn't used to be magic. Now phones are magic.
Yeah.
You don't need to buy expensive
Voodoo.
equipment.
These phones are voodoo, witchcraft magic. I love them. I love these phones nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, sure, everybody's addicted to them, but yeah.
You should be.
They're
You
amazing.
fucking should be. They're smart and they're phones. And they're
Yes. The people are dumb, but the phones are hella smart.
Yes. Mary, you mentioned playing another song. Would you be able to do that?
Yes, because you had mentioned in our emails back and forth that you would like to hear Tits and Whiskey. And so in honor of like my growth and progression as a musician, as a person, obviously, I've been working on a jazz arrangement of it all day. And I don't know if this is going to like come across, but we're going to give it a shot.
Cool. All right, let's go.
All right.
Yes.
Here we go. Fast cars and explosions, party hats and motion lotion. Let's go down to the ocean and break out the tits and whiskey. Fuck me, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me. I am Ernie's rubber ducky. Kiss me, oh, kiss me, kiss me. Let's break out the tits and whiskey. It has to be filthy. I'm ripe and I'm healthy. I wish I was wealthy. So fuck the rhythm and let's break out the tits and whiskey, cause that shows we're anarchists. Fuck me, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me. I am Ernie's rubber ducky. Kiss me, oh, kiss me, kiss me. Let's break out the tits and whiskey. Tits and whiskey. Hey, hey. Ow!
Wow.
Amazing.
Amazing rendition. God damn. That's...
It's a Robin Slim exclusive.
Wow. Thank
Thank
you so much. Wow. I feel like you would be laying on top of a piano singing that.
You know, it's funny you should say that because I totally am.
Just
I've
right
been
now,
laying
like on
on top
a
of the piano
piano.
this entire interview.
That's usually how I prep for the show. I just lay on the
You're just like
Yeah.
on a piano.
Steinfeld or whatever they're called. I don't know. God damn, Mary, it's been an amazing time talking to you. Thank you so much.
It's always such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, would definitely have to do it again. And again, where can everybody find you?
Oh, yes, that is maryprankster.com. And the social media stuff is at Mary Prankster HQ.
Cool. Thank you. I can't thank you enough. It was
Really
amazing. Yes.
Thanks, fellas.
No problem. Thank you, Mary. We will talk soon.